This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, yesterday we were discussing about the if statement and how actually it works. Okay, why it is showing? One moment, let me do this setting first. Go to why it is showing at this point. One moment, beta. Okay, so we were discussing about this if statement, and here we have discussed about that we need to check only inside the if condition. So if we have some, it is moving. So yes, inside the if condition, we need to check whether this particular inside this braces, this condition is true or not. If this condition is true, then only we are going to encounter or we are going to come to this particular statements. Whatever the statements we have, we are going to execute these statements, right? So what type of expressions we can expect inside this braces? Yes, audible? Audible? Yes, Jayant,
Yes,
audible?
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So
Yes,
what
sir.
kind of
Yes,
expressions we
sir.
can expect in what kind of expressions we can expect inside these braces is something like this. These are what we call as the relational operators. Something like this: x equals to y. Is x is equals to y? Yes or no? X. Okay. Actually, I have converted this PDF into this PPT format. That's why this is coming like this. Otherwise, in the PDF format, it should be like this. X is not equals to y, like this, right? So if x is not equals to y, if this condition is true, then only we are going to encounter these statements. X is less than y, right? X is greater. This should be greater.
में सर
Let me come to this. Yes, beta.
सर यहाँ पे 2 आएंगे ना, कल आपने बताया था फर्स्ट वाले में.
ये बेटा इसलिए आ रहा है. One moment. Reason being because I have shared this PDF. Actually, I have converted this PDF into this PPT format. That's why conversion, due to conversion problem, this is showing like this. Let me show you the PDF only. But the problem with this is how we are going to. Okay, no problem. Okay. This is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now this is fine. Because that I have converted PDF to the PPT. That's why it was showing some like this one. So now we have this particular x equals to y, right? So this is something, whenever this condition will be true, then only we are going to execute the if statement. Otherwise, we are not going to execute. So like x is not equals to y, x is less than y, x is greater than y, x is less than equals to y, and sum. So all these are the relational operators in the C, which are basically useful inside these if conditions, if statements, right? If the condition is true, then only we are going to come to the statement. Otherwise, we will leave that, right? So you need to take care that this double equals to the equality sign. Here we are going to compare two operands, but here this we are going to assign. This is an assignment operator, right? So whenever we'll say that 5 equals to this one, here what we are, or x equals to x, x equals to x. So this is something what we are doing. We are doing the equality check whether these two are equal or not. But here what we are doing, we are assigning. So this is an assignment, x equals to y. So what does it mean? That is the value of this will be assigned to this particular x. Okay. Now, yes, Aman, what's the problem? Yes, Aman. Okay, now coming to the first program that yesterday we have also discussed this program. Let me resume this one. So here we are talking about that how we are going to use this particular if statement, right? So we have always started with the this particular main function, and from the main function we declare one variable. So what do you understand with declaration of a particular variable? What do you mean by declaration of particular variable? Yes, anybody? What is the meaning of this int number? We have declared one variable here. The name of this variable is a number.
For allocating of memory,
We have
this
created a
variable
space
will hold integer values.
in the memory.
Okay, so let me go a little bit deeper here. So because this will be very much useful when we will study the concept of the pointers as well. But as of now, let me show you this. For example, this is your memory. This one is your memory, right? So let us, this particular side is the lowest side of memory. What does it mean by the lowest side of memory? Here, whenever we try to fetch the memory address, it always means the lower side number will always be reflected. So for example, here for this particular number, we have declared the data size as a data type as an integer. So normally in all the computers we have data, whenever we have the integer type data type, then it is taking the 4 bytes. Normally it is taking the 4 bytes. Otherwise this is not a hard and fast rule. So which particular operator we are going to check whether our integer is taking the 4 bytes or something else? Yes, which operator I am going to use? That is size of operator. Inside the printf statement you need to write size of, right? So from this we will get to know what is the actual size of this integer in my system, right? But normally in most of the computer the size of the integer is 4 bytes. So it means that this particular memory location is up to 4 bytes. Up to 4 bytes it will be allocated, and let us assume that the cell of each memory location, the cell of these 4 bytes, each is having 1 byte. Each is 1 byte. So it is going to occupy these 4 cells. This number is going to occupy whatever we are going to enter inside this number. This is going to occupy these 4 cells, right? So from where we are going to start writing the writing what the values? From which particular point we are going to start writing the values inside this cell? So we are always going to start with the lower side, lower memory side. So for example, at this particular lower, the memory address is here 100. Let us assume that is 100, right? Then the next location will be what? 101. This is 102 and this is 103. So whatever I am going to store inside this number, for example, I am storing here 5. So this 5 will be converted to the binary, right? Are you following this, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes, everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So for example, in the number, I am going to store the 2. So this 2 will be converted into the binary. What is the binary conversion of 2? That is 0 0 1 0. Yes, this is the binary of 2. You remember the value box method or any other method? If you remember, you will get to know that the binary of this 2 is 0 0 1 0, right? So but you can see
sir.
that this particular number is going to take the 32 bits, because the integer size is here how much? 4 bytes, that is 32 bits. Okay, so how we are going to accommodate these 4 bits? How we are going to accommodate these 4 bits into the 32 bit size? This is the question. Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes, sir. बट ये तो हम कर सकते हैं ना, वैसे जो हमने
Are you following?
पढ़ा था.
कैसे बेटा? Yes, anybody? Yes, Garima, Jayant, Vansh, anybody? Abhinav.
Sir,
The big question
सर हम
in front of
कन्वर्ट
us
करते
is,
थे जो हमारा.
yes बेटा, yes.
हम जो हमारा हाईएस्ट नंबर ऑफ बिट्स, हम मतलब मिनिमम बिट्स निकाल लेते थे जिसमें हम रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं.
But the question in front of us that we are going to store the number 2 here, decimal number 2 here, and this is going to take the 32 bits. But the number conversion of 2, that is whatever we are storing, is only 4 bits. In the 4 bits we can represent it, then how we are going to accommodate this 4 bit into the 32 bit space,
Rest of all bits.
right?
रेस्ट बिट्स
So-
विल बी
so-
0.
सर 2 के अलावा बाकी सारी जगह 0 आ जाएगा।
यस बेटा, सारी जगह 0 आ जाएगा, लेकिन कौन सी जगह पे क्या रखना है, क्योंकि व्हाट वी आर सेइंग दैट ईच सेल इज ऑफ 1 बाइट, दिस इज 1 बाइट, दिस इज 1 बाइट, 1 बाइट. So this particular cell will take how much? Maximum it can take 8 bits. Maximum it can take 8 bits, 8 bits, and it can take 8 bits. Are you following this? Okay. So, but as of now we have 4 bits. So what we will do? Now we will try to make this number in form of 32 bits. So how we are going to do it? We are going to assign extra bits in form of 0. This is 4 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4. This become 8 bits. So this is one grouping. Then again 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So again this is 8 bit. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again 8 bit. What we are left? We are just left with the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now this is the 30 bit representation of this particular number 2. Now which particular? Now see here basically what we will do? Either we can place from this side, this number will be placed here, or either this number will be placed here, right? So which particular number you want to place at the lower side of the memory? Yes beta, which number you want to place to the lower side of the memory? In group of 8, in group of 8, which number you are going to place toward the lower side of the memory?
इसकी हमें नीड है, मतलब
Yes, once.
फर्स्ट वाले 8 बिट्स.
Okay, some people are saying, sir, we should place this number first.
The last 8.
Yes.
Sir.
Are
Last
there
8.
some? Are there people who are saying, sir, we should place these number, these 8 grouping first? Last ही रहेगा. And some people are saying, sir, ये रहेगा. So in both cases, please remember that both of you are true. Both people are true. You can place it either way. So that depends on your processor. If you are using the Intel processor, see in your system, if you are using the Intel processor, then this particular representation, we will pick this number from this side, that is the lower, that is the LSB. This is the least significant bits, and from this side we call these bits as the most significant bits. So whenever we are going to choose these bits from this side, then and we are going to place it inside this particular low memory location first, and then again we are going to pick this one, then this one, and lastly we are going to pick this one. So such type of representation is what we call as little endian representation. What we call that? Little
endian representation.
little endian representation. So if you are using the Intel processor, this is how your numbers will be stored into the computer memory. Please remember that. But some of you, if you are using the Motorola or the Spark processors, then we are going to choose this MSB first. So 8 groups of this MSB will be chosen first, and we are going to place it first here. Are you following this concept or not?
Sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
if you are using the Motorola or the Spark processor, then it will be choosing from this side, and it is going to place it at the memory location first, and then we are going to choose this one, then this one, and lastly we are going to choose this one, and this will be placed in this particular memory location. Whenever we are going to use this Motorola and the Spark processor, such type of representation will be used, and such type of representation is what we called as big endian. Are you following this concept, this memory representation or not till now?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please do not never be confused, because whenever we study these pointers and I will ask you, okay, can you show me the content of the memory at this particular location? Can you show me the content? Can you show me the content? Then you should know that which type of particular processors I'm using and how we are going to fetch this content out of the memory. how we are going to fetch the content out of the memory, that we will study in the concept of the pointers. But as of now, just as a little type of introduction, that what does it mean by the number and how we are going to store the numbers inside the memories, right? So we can take any type of number. If we have this hexadecimal number, let me rub this. Let me rub this one. Okay. So for example, this number can also take. Let me take a pointer. So this number can also take some kind of hexadecimal. So what is a hexadecimal number here? We always start it writing the 0, and then on the keyboard we press the X, right? And then whatever the number that we are going to write, for example, I just want to write the 3, 5, 6, 9, 0, 8, 4, like this one. So this is the kind of hexadecimal. So when you study the digital electronics, you came to know that what are the different type of numbers we have. We have octal numbers, we have binary numbers, we have decimal numbers, we have hexadecimal numbers. So kind of numbers you can store inside the memory. So if I will ask you, if you all ask that if I'm using the Intel processor, so how this number will be stored inside the memory? Can you answer that? Let me make the memory here. What type of number it is? It is integer. How much space it will take? 4 bytes.
4 bytes.
Each cell will take 1 byte, 1 byte, 1 byte. How many bits? 8 bits.
2 bits.
How many bits? 8 bits.
Total.
8 bits. How this number will be stored in the little endian notation if I am using the Intel processor? Can you answer which particular hexadecimal will be displayed at this particular location?
The least significant bit.
First of
Yes, beta. So what will be the process of conversion? Simply, sir, I am going to convert this whole number into the binary form. So if when you study the binary conversion, you came to know that how we are going to convert this into the binary form. This is 4, right? So you just write this 4, equivalent of this 4 into the binary in grouping of 4. In grouping of 4, you have to write the equivalent binary number. So what is the equivalent of binary number 4? Yes.
100.
100.
Okay. This is 4.
Yes.
Then equivalent binary of this 8 will be written. What is the equivalent of 8 in grouping of 4?
1000.
0.
Then what we have 0. So what is the equivalent of in octet of 4 in grouping of 4? This is
0 1
0, 0, 0.
1.
Then we have 9. Then this will be 1,
1001.
0,
1.
1. Then what we have 6. What is the 6?
0, 1, 1.
0.
0 1 1 0.
What is 5?
0 1 0 1. 0 1 0.
0, 1.
And what is 3?
0 0.
What is 3 beta?
0
0, 0, 1, 1.
0 0.
Okay, so sir, this is the obviously this is the binary conversion of this one, and so I am using the Intel processor. So which particular bits I in grouping of 8, which particular bits I am going to choose first? This one, beta. Yes,
Yes.
and I am going to
Yes,
place
sir.
it at this side. So these bits will be displayed here. So once I am going to get, see, memory is always going to store everything in the form of zeros and 1. So if we have the zeros and 1 available here, can you display using the format specifier its equivalent decimal number? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, beta, using printf %d.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you specify, can you print the equivalent of this binary into the hexadecimal number using the printf statement? Which format specifier you will use? You will use either small x. See, we are going to use the %d only. Here's the decimal number. But if we are going to use small x, then this is the hexadecimal numbers, right? We can also write the capital X here. The number that is displayed on the screen will be in the form of hexadecimal, right? So likewise, we can use the floating point number. So what kind of format specifier we want to display, we can display it. If we want to display this particular number in form of the this decimal number, we will use print d %d in the format specifier. Okay, so that is not the case here, but we just what we want to convey is that how numbers are actually being stored. So in grouping of 8, so what is the next 8 bit? This is the next 8 bit, and this will be stored at this location. The next 8 bit
So
will
we are
be
talking about
this one.
Little Indian. No.
Yes, beta, Little Indian. Little Indian, this side is what we call as the LSB. Normally for every number, this side, this right side is what we call the LSB, and this is what we call as the MSB here. Most significant bits and least significant bits. So LSB will be taken toward the lower side of the memory, and this subsequently this MSB will be placed at the higher side of the memory. Likewise. And if you'll reverse, so if you can, okay, when we'll study the, let me don't go into the very deep, otherwise you will be confused, sir, why we are studying at this point only. But because the memory concepts comes here, that's why I just convey this information that how the numbers are actually being stored inside the memory. Anyways, if you go a little bit deep and you just explore this thing, what type of processor I'm using. If someone of you are being using some other kind of processor other than the Intel, then might be that representation will be in the big endian notation. If that will be the big endian notation, then this MSB will be taken first. So this octet will be taken first, and it will be placed. Okay.
So display में भी change
So
आएगा.
But beta,
जो हम print tab से display करेंगे उसमें थोड़ा change आएगा कुछ.
क्यों नहीं आएगा बेटा? ये तो हमने बाइनरी यहाँ पे कर दिया है केवल. जब आपके पास एक बाइनरी रिप्रेजेंटेशन आ गया है चीज का, अब तो आपको केवल उसको आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करना है. आपको तो केवल आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करना है ना. तो आपको आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए कौन कौन से फॉर्मेट स्पेसिफायर आपके पास? सर मेरे पास %dv है, सर मेरे पास %fv है, मेरे पास स्मॉल x भी है, कैपिटल x भी है. तो ये डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ फॉर्मेट स्पेसिफायर क्यों बढ़ाए जाते हैं? ताकि जब हमें अपने आउटपुट स्क्रीन देखना हो, अपने आउटपुट पे स्क्रीन पे आउटपुट लेके आनी हो, तो किस पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मेट में मुझे वो लेके आनी है. अब मुझे हेक्साडेसिमल की फॉर्मेट में चाहिए तो आप स्मॉल x यूज करो या कैपिटल x यूज करो. ओके,
ये सब वो मैं समझ गया, बट मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि अगर हम चाहे जो हम प्रोसेसर यूज करते हैं उसका इस चीज से जैसे मेरे पे इंटेल है, किसी और पे दूसरा है, और हमने दोनों में डिस्प्ले करना है हेक्साडेसिमल के फॉर्म में, तो डिस्प्ले तो सेम ही है हेक्साडेसिमल का.
हाँ, डिस्प्ले बेटा सेम आएगा, डिस्प्ले सेम आएगा. मेरा मीनिंग कहने का ये है कि अगर आपको बिट वाइज अगर ये इंफॉर्मेशन देखनी हो कि कौन सी बिट पे कौन सा नंबर स्टोर है, तो वहां पे जो है हमें ये इस तरह की जो है हार्डवेयर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कोई ज्यादा फर्क नहीं आने वाला है. लेकिन जब हम सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट की बात करेंगे तो वहां पे हम पॉइंटर्स में देखेंगे कि इस कंसेप्ट का जो इंटेल प्रोसेसर यूज कर रहे हैं और जो अपना ये मोटोरोला वाला यूज कर रहे हैं, तो सॉफ्टवेयर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इस पर्टिकुलर रिप्रेजेंटेशन का मेमोरी एक्सेस में क्या फर्क आ जाता है, उससे हमारा परफॉर्मेंस पे क्या फर्क पड़ता है. राइट, अभी इतना डीप नहीं जाते, बट अभी जो है फिलहाल के लिए नोट कर लो कि हम रिप्रेजेंटेशन जो है मेमोरी को किस तरह से नंबर्स को हम रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. ओके फाइन, सो लेट्स मूव. इसमें काफी टाइम लगा दिया हमने, अभी इतना डिस्कस करने की इसमें नहीं था. एनीवेज, सो दिस इज व्हाट. ओके, so this is how we are going to store the number. This is, we have declared one number here, and now you just need to enter some number. So for example, the example that we have taken, you enter the 2. Now can you imagine how this 2 will be stored inside the memory? Yes, everybody.
Yes sir.
Yes sir.
Okay, so here we have used this address operator, ampersand number. So why this particular operator is used? This particular operator will be used to fetch the address of the memory location. So as I said that we have this memory location. So the starting address is something, this is the lower side, we have some address. So for example, the address here is 100. The next address here is, because it is 1 byte, again we are going to again 1 byte here. So again let us assume that this address is 101, then this is 102, this is 103 address. So assigning this ampersand sign here is we are going to get at this particular 100. This 100 location we are going to get. So what we are doing, whenever we are going to enter some number through the keyboard, then where we are storing this number? We are storing this number at the location 100. Writing this ampersand meaning we are standing at this particular location 100. We are fetching the address of this location. So what is the address of this location? This is 100. So whatever we are going to enter it through the keyboard, that number will be stored at this particular location. Okay. Okay. Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Okay, so simply now come to your if condition, if statement. So here we are going to compare whether my number that I have entered is less than equals to 10 or not. If it is true, then only we are going to print what a good player of cricket you are. Otherwise, we are going to leave this particular statement. We will not enter inside the if statement, if condition, right? I think this is pretty clear. What does it mean by the if? Now coming to the next one. Now see the flow chart. So this is how we have started it using. If you want to take it through the flow chart, how it will look like. We have started it. We enter some number, right? We do some type of input. Then here is the actual thing. That is, here we are actually comparing the number with the 10, lesser than 10, equals to 10, greater than 10. If the result is true, then only we are going to enter into inside this. Otherwise, we are not going to enter inside this. We will simply exit. We will simply stop. We will encounter the curly braces here, the end curly braces. Okay. Okay. Now, quickly see all these things. See, again, there is one statement while purchasing certain items, right? So see, whenever you are given some problem, you just to imagine how we are going to solve. Can we apply the if else condition on this problem or not? Can I convert this into the some type of if else type of things? Although we have not studied the else part, but as of now, can we apply the if statement there or not? So the statement that we have is, while purchasing a certain item, a discount of 10% is offered, right? So this is the discount that the seller is giving. If the quantity purchased more than 1000, right? So what you will do, you just need to have the quantity and the rate with you. So you are going to take the input. From where you are going to take the input? Yes, beta. From where you are going to take the input? You are going to take the input from the keyboard. So which particular function you are going to use in order to store these inputs?
Scanner.
Right? So scanf will be used here. So after taking the input and storing these input into the memory location, now what you are doing? You are going to compare if the quantity and the price of the items or the input through the keyboard, right? Okay. So if the quantity is greater than 1000, so what you will do? You give the 10%. Otherwise, you will not enter into this. You will come to this particular condition, right? So can you write the program for this? Yes, can you write the program for this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty simple. It's very simple,
Yes,
right?
sir.
We will use the printf statement. We will use the scanf. Then we will use the one inside the if condition. We will check this, right? So if this will be true, then we will enter inside this. Otherwise, what we will do? We come to out of this. We will not enter into this, and we straightly come to this particular curly braces. After this curly braces, we come and we are going to solve this particular this mathematics, this arithmetic we will solve, and whatever we will get from this, we are going to use the printf statement here, and we are going to display it using the total, right? So this is how we can program this. Very simple, right? So if you want to see it, let me. Okay. Now here we have discussed some of the cases, some if statement cases, right? So what are the different cases we have? How can we use if statement in a different type of different type of cases, right? So one is that if we have some type of expression here, right? So this will perfectly work. If you are going to supply some type of expression inside the if condition, that will perfectly work. There will be not an issue. So because what is the basic condition of executing of if statement? What is the basic condition? The basic condition is that inside these braces, the condition should be true. Otherwise, if the condition is not true, then only we are going to exit. Otherwise, we are going to execute the next statement after the if. So this will also work, because what we are doing here we are assigning 10 into the memory. Here also, this will also even work. Here we have -5. Only in one case we will fail in the if condition, and what is that case? if we are going to supply 0 by any condition, by any mean, if inside this braces we will get the 0, then only we are not going to enter inside the if. Otherwise, we will be always be true. So if you can see here, in C, a non-zero value is considered as true, like here. This is true, whereas 0 is considered as false, right? So only in case of 0 and the false, we will not encounter these immediate statements, and we will exit the if statement only in case of the 0 and the false condition. Okay. Okay. Now quickly go through this. In the first line, I think it is pretty clear to everyone. Yes. Yes, beta.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see this one. That what we have written here. Here, what about this 7.23 in the third if statement? Where is this 7.23? Have we written it? Okay, let us take this. This is perfectly work. This is perfectly work. This also work. So if we will write if 7.23, will it work or not? Yes or
sir.
no?
Yes, sir.
It will work. Okay. Now,
सर ये एक बार और बता दीजिए प्लीज.
which one बेटा?
7.23 आपने.
बेटा इसमें करना क्या है, अगर मेरे पास इफ कंडीशन के अंदर, ये मेरी इफ कंडीशन है, इन करली ये ब्रेसिस जो हमने लगाए ना, इसके अगर कोई भी 0 आ जाए या मेरा फॉल्स आ जाए, तो मैं इफ के अंदर जो भी इमीडिएट स्टेटमेंट लिखी होगी वहां पे नहीं जाना. अगर यहाँ पे केवल कब जाना है, जब आपके अंदर ट्रू कंडीशंस होगी. केवल 0 और फॉल्स को छोड़ के आपको नहीं जाना है, बाकी सब केसेस में जाओगे. बस इतना सा मीनिंग है इसका. जैसे यहाँ पे ये एक्सप्रेशन का रिजल्ट 0 तो नहीं है ना? 0 है क्या इसका? इसका 0 नहीं है. 0 नहीं है तो हम अंदर चले जाएंगे. इसका क्या 0 रिजल्ट है? हमने मेमोरी में ए में जो है हमने 10 असाइन कर दिया है, राइट? तो हमने क्या किया, क्या यहाँ पे 0 आगे नहीं आया है? ये भी वर्क कर जाएगा. हम इस पे चले जाएंगे. -5 असाइन किया है इधर, तो -5 का 0 है क्या? -5 तो 0 नहीं है, तो इस पर भी वर्क कर जाएगा ये. इट इज क्लियर?
यस सर.
Okay, so let's quickly move forward. Okay, so now let's see some of the statement. Now coming to the multiple statements within the if. अगर if के अंदर जो है मेरे पास multiple statements आ जाए तो क्या करना है? So sometimes as you can see, it may also happen that a program, if in a program we want more than one statement to be executed, कैसे होगा? जैसे हमने बोला कि if कोई कंडीशन है तो ये स्टेटमेंट भी एग्जीक्यूट करो, उसके बाद ये स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट करो, फिर ये वाली स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट करो. सो इफ वी हैव सम इफ कंडीशन, आई वांट टू एग्जीक्यूट द मल्टीपल स्टेटमेंट इनसाइड द इफ कंडीशन, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल द मल्टीपल स्टेटमेंट इनसाइड द इफ कंडीशन. हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू डू दैट, राइट? सो in such multiple statements are to be executed, then they must be placed within the pair of braces. इतना सा याद रखना है. अगर मल्टीपल स्टेटमेंट्स है मेरा इफ के अंदर, तो हमने क्या करना है, हमने लिखना है ये इफ स्टेटमेंट, हमने कंडीशन चेक करी. अगर मल्टीपल स्टेटमेंट्स है, बहुत सारी स्टेटमेंट्स को देखना है. व्हाट डज इट मीन बाय मल्टीपल स्टेटमेंट्स? मोर देन वन स्टेटमेंट्स इफ वी हैव. सो व्हाट वी विल डू, वी नीड टू स्टार्ट इट विद द कर्ली ब्रेसेस एंड वी नीड टू एंड इट विद द कर्ली ब्रेसेस. This thing is clear or not? But if we do not have the multiple statements, we can use the curly braces or we are free not to use the curly braces. This is fine. Yes. अगर मेरे पास एक ही स्टेटमेंट होगी, yes बेटा, अगर मेरे पास केवल एक ही स्टेटमेंट है, ये मुझे एग्जीक्यूट करनी है, आप कर्ली ब्रेसेस लगा भी सकते हो, नहीं भी लगा सकते हो. अगर आपने लगा दिया है कोई हार्म नहीं होगा, लेकिन अगर मल्टीपल स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट करनी है तो आपको कर्ली ब्रेसेस लगाने ही पड़ेंगे. ये थिंग क्लियर है कि नहीं है?
यस सर.
Yes, sir. Clear. Yes, sir. Clear.
तो अगर आपने करना क्या है बेटा, आपने ये करना है, आपने हमेशा कर्ली ब्रेसेस लगाने ही लगाने हैं. बस इतना सा काम करो, ताकि आपको रिमेंबर करने की जरूरत ना हो कि वन स्टेटमेंट है कि टू टाइम स्टेटमेंट्स है. You just need to put the curly braces, no matter whether it is a one statement or two statement. You just simply blindly you put the curly braces. Is it fine? Yes, beta?
यस सर.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So this is what? Now quickly coming to, okay, we have made one program. So please quickly read this particular example. The current year and the year in which the employees joined the organization are entered through the keyboard. Can you enter this or not through the keyboard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The current year, can you enter the current year? And the year in which the employee joined the organization is entered through the keyboard. So you will use the scanf,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
right? And you use the percent, this ampersand, right? Whatever the number in the year you want to store, you just enter ampersand year. So, okay. And then if the number of the years for which the employee has served the organization is greater than 3, so what you will do? What you are going to compare? Inside the condition, what you are going to compare? If year is
the
greater than 3,
difference of
right? Then the bonus of 500 is given to the employee. So if it means that here we are going to put my logic. So whatever the bonus I have, I am going to give the a plus bonus of 2500. If the year of service is greater than 3, then the program should not do nothing. Okay, let me do this. Which organization has served the organization is great. Okay, so there are two things. There is a one employee. If he served the organization more than 3, then the bonus will be given. And if the year of the service is not greater than 3, if it is lesser than 3, then no bonus will be given. Can you simply write it inside the if statement or not?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, let's quickly see this. Everybody, this is very pretty simple. It's not a big deal. So let's directly coming to the program. Okay, see it. Everybody, this is clear to everyone or not, this program?
Yes, sir.
We will take
Yes,
some bonus, some variable. Whenever you are going to assign variable, please be you supposed to assign them in a meaningful order, meaningful way. It is a bonus, you just write it is a bonus. Otherwise, if you will write some alpha, beta, gamma, so who will understand it is a type of bonus? Otherwise, you can write it, but name should be always be sensible. So it is a bonus. Then this year or year of joining, then year of service. So these four, 5 variables we have taken, and we will going to enter it through the keyboard, right? So we enter year of joining and year of service or current year, whatever. And year of service, we are going to subtract it and then takes the logic. Inside the if condition, we are going to execute the multiple statement, right? So this is what I want to convey. Inside the if condition, if you have multiple statements, then you are going to use these curly braces. But what we said, no matter if there is a one statement or two statements, you just blindly you just follow this convention of writing the curly braces after the if condition. Okay. Yes.
yes, sir.
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 Okay. Now coming to the next statement, that is the if else statement. Now till now what we have covered the if statement, multiple statements inside the if, how we are going to handle the multiple statements. Now we have another version, that is the if else statement. Okay, so how it will work? Now let's see the working first. What about the situation when if the if statement does nothing as the expression evaluate to false? अभी हमने क्या बात करी थी कि अगर if कंडीशन के अंदर false कर जाए तो if के अंदर एंटर नहीं करेगा वो, तो अगर if के अंदर एंटर नहीं करेगा तो फिर क्या करेगा वो? क्या इस तरह की स्टेटमेंट भी हम प्रोग्राम को मेंशन कर सकते हैं क्या? So that is where the else will come into the picture. If condition is false, then only we are coming to this particular else statement. Then only we are coming to this particular else statement. Okay. So let's quickly see the example here. So this is the example. If you can see on your screen, there is some company. In a company, an employee is paid as under. किस तरह से उसकी सैलरी मिलती है कंपनी में? If his basic salary less than 1500, then HRA of 10% of basic salary and DA meaning clearance allowance. When you come into the job, you will came to realize what is DA. But as of now, this is something type of, when you will travel somewhere, then you will get this DA allowance. A DA allowance of 90% of the basic salary will be given, right? So what are the condition? If the basic salary is less than 1500, so will you enter the basic salary from the keyboard? Yes or no? We'll take the basic salary from the keyboard. If it is lesser than 1500,
Yes,
we can calculate the HRA. How the HRA is calculated? 10% of basic salary. So this is the 10% of the basic salary, and DA is 90% of the basic salary. So what is DA? DA is the 90% of basic salary. So we have multiple statements. We are going to enclose it inside the curly braces. If this condition falls, if this condition is not true, so what we will do? We come to this particular else condition. If this is false, we will not encounter, we are not going to enter into this. Where we will enter? We are going to encounter this else condition. We will come to this else. So in that case, if the salary is not equal, is either equal or above the 1500, so what we will do? We come to the else condition. This is the simple meaning. So see this. Then HRA calculation will be like this, and DA calculation will be like this. And whatever the calculation we have, we are going to calculate the gross salary. GS is a gross salary, that is basic salary, HRA and DA. And we are simply going to print F. So we have used the %F here. It is, we want the salaries to be in the floating point decimal numbers, right? So I think this example is clear to everyone, or is there someone who is not able to understand such kind of examples? Yes. Yes, beta. Yes. Tell me. Let me ask some people. Yes, Weber. Yes, once.
फिर समझ आ गया.
Yes, Venkata Rami Reddy.
Understand.
Okay. Okay. Now coming to, so this is what we call as the if else. So what thing you need to take care? Only that you need to take care about these braces. You need to always enclose these braces. अगर नहीं करोगे तो क्या होगा? Immediate जो statement है वो execute होगी केवल, right? You should always remember this. Multiple statement cases, we should always take this particular curly braces. Okay. Now coming to this flow chart, again the flow chart for the previous problem, it is pretty simple here, that whatever the logic that we have done, you can see here, we take the input from the keyboard, we compare it with the 1500. If this is true, then only we are going to enter inside the if condition. So this was the if condition we have. If this is false, then where we are going to go? We are going to come to the else condition. So whatever the logic inside the else condition, we are going to simply solve that, and we are going to print the HRA. This is gross salary. Okay. So this is what. Now already all these same things are written over here, and you can quickly see all these things. The group of statements after the if, up to and not including the else is what we call the if block. So what is the if block? That is if group of statements after if. So this is one statement we have written, this is second statement we have written, and this is the curly braces, right? So the group of statements after if, up to, not including else. So all these is what we called as, this is the group, this is the if block, this is the if block. And what is else block? From here to here, whatever we are going to write, this is the else block, right? The else block must be written exactly below the if, right? Please note it down. If there is only one statement to be executed in the if block, then only one statement in the else block, then we can omit, but it is not, we should not go into the practice of omitting the curly braces. What we will do, we will never omit it. This thing is clear. Sometimes in the question it is mentioned, or sometimes the curly braces is not given, so you should not be confused. So should we mention the curly braces or not? In programming practice, you should always mention the curly braces, right? But if we are not going to mention, where we are not going to mention, only where we have only in it, right? Statement. So usually we do not mention the curly braces, but we should always mention. As with if statement, the default scope of else is also the statement immediately after the else. The same working as we have done for the if, the same working for the else will go around. To override this default scope, a pair of braces as used in the example must be used. Okay, the same thing. Nested if else statement. So let's have a quick review of that. What is the nested if? Inside this particular if else statement, can we nest it? Can we have multiple if else statement or not? Right? For example, in this case, it is perfectly all right if you write the entire if else construct within the either the body of if statement or the body of else statement. For example, in this example, you can see here we have taken enter either 1 or 2. For example, in the I we have taken 1. We enter through the keyboard the number as 1. So if it is 1, then we are going to print this. You would go to heaven. Okay. Else, if the number is not 1, we will come to the else part, this particular part, else part. Inside this else part, again we have used this if else. So this is what we call as the nested if else statement. So whenever we have some if else statement, how can we nest? Can we again use the if else statement inside that? Yes, we can use. Yes. So where this is the body of this inner if else if, this is the body of inner else, and this is the body of outer, and this is the whole body of this particular up to this point. This is the body of this particular else, this particular else, right? For this, the whole body is this one, right? Are you following this, beta? Yes, yes, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
What's
Yes,
up?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Following, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What more point? If the second if else statement is nested in the okay, if the condition is the first if statement is false, then the condition in the second if statement will be checked. If the condition, if it is false, same mechanism will work. Okay. Okay. Let me come to more examples here. Okay, these are different variants in which we can use the if statements. So whatever we have studied till now, these are the different variants. What are those variants? You can freely use all these variants according to your problem, according to your statement, according to the question. You can use such kind of statement, the different forms of the if. One is already discussed. If this is the condition, do this. So do we need to use the curly braces here or not? Yes, here in this particular. Can I use the curly braces?
No, sir.
We can use, sir.
We can use.
Yes, yes, sir.
We do not,
Yes,
do
sir,
not
we
be
can
very
use.
hard. We can use. Do not be very hard, sir. We cannot use. We can use. There is no fault. But usually, whenever we have one statement, we usually don't use that. But you please do not, make this convention. You should always use that. Otherwise, once it will be a habit that for the one statement I will not use, for the two statement I will use, that will make you confused. So what you will do, you just make in habit that you always use the curly braces when we encounter if or else, right? So this is one variant we have. The second variant is, this is pretty simple, that we have also used multiple statements. So we have used these curly braces. In the condition is true, this is the example of if else statement. If, otherwise else. Then what we have? Then we have if, do this, then else, do this. Again, we can write it the same thing, multiple statement. This is one single statement. We have not used the curly braces, but we should use. So one curly braces for this one and one for this one, right? So this is again one variant. The another variant, that nested if else structure, we have this one, right? Okay, have we used? Yes. Inside this if condition, again we have used this particular if else. In the previous example where we have used the if else, we have used the if else inside the else condition. But even we can use this if else. This is nesting of if else can be done either in the above if or either in the else below else. So either way you can do it, the nesting of if else. So multiple nesting is always possible, the moment it makes some sense, right? So this is also condition. If condition, do this, else inside only one statement is there, you are free. You are use the curly braces or don't use the curly braces, but you should use the curly braces. This is the else condition, and again we have nested this, right? Okay, this is pretty simple. Clear to everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Okay. Now I think you have next class. So we will cover these logical operators, use of the logical operators and other stuff. So we are going. Do you have class at 4 o'clock? Some other class?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So we will. So okay. So we'll schedule this class. We will schedule the C class, computer programming class at 4 o'clock today. Okay. Now you can leave
sir.
and join the other class.
ओके सर
सर आज के नोट्स भी शेयर कर देना सर और रिकॉर्डिंग भी सर
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine.
यस सर प्लीज सर
यस सर अभी तक की सारी स्लाइड शेयर कर देना
Yes.
रिकॉर्डिंग भी सर
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Peter.
Sir, do you have any idea about this year's placement, sir?
What, Peter?
Do you have any idea about this year's placements, sir? Placements?
Placements.
Yes, sir.
What do you will do about the placement? You are in the first semester as of now.
Just asking, sir, for out of curiosity.
Just ask you. Triple ID Sony the placement is very good. If you could, you will see or your previous data. It is maximum placement is about 40 lakh.
Oh. Great.
40 and average around 30, 35, 25, and this is the package that your seniors have grabbed. Do not need to be worried. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Why you have joined? Please leave for the other classes. Everybody.